We're going live? All right, we are live. What's going on, everybody? Hope you had a great trading day today. Let me get this tweeted out here. Awesome. Yeah, so wow, what a day today, huh? So finally a little bit of volatility came into the markets. We had, look at this, all this chop. The market kept going up, but why? Because we kept gapping up, right? But for the most part, the range of these days, the last couple of days, last 2 weeks, have only been, the average has only been like 13 points. So, we have like a couple 10-point days. Anything under 15 points to me is a pretty narrow range day on the SPX. So we have we had a bearish engulfing day today with over 22 points. So pretty big move today. Just real quick, let's take a look at the VIX. See what that was doing. So the VIX, right? What did it do? It tapped down, because we're gapping up and all that stuff. Tapped this, very, into some support here in this range. Right, and then bounced right back off of it with some back there. So you got a little bit of support back there. Bounce off of that VIX today with some intensity, right? So and that that made the market do its thing. So when stuff like that happens, you just have to either get out of the way or get ready to short, right? Or have some fun. So because it moves fast, and that's why shorting can be really fun. Just kind of zooming in here on today. So these were the levels. The pivot level. So for all my friends who have joined the newsletter and the Positive Trends newsletter, which comes with a free private Twitter where I post my trades intraday, so folks can learn and enjoy. We're able to see a lot of type of action. But anyway, just want to point out a couple things really quickly. We've done a video in the past on the Fib spiral, on the Fibonacci spiral, and just kind of want to show you here. This is just from yesterday. We did the high to the low on the Fibonacci spiral, and look what it did, right? So obviously broke that level and broke to the downside. But look at this prior Fibonacci. Sometimes you got to go like a day or two out, and just kind of let them work their magic. So sometimes you get confluence areas, like right here. You have this intersection point, which proved to be a point of interest. But look how it followed this spiral like all the way down here, right? And then once that spiral started curling over, right, we reverse. So just amazing things that you can do with sort of these laws of nature, right? So, but for the most part, we'll talk a little bit more about price action, and that's kind of where the rubber meets the ground, right? So, but for the most part, pretty interesting day today. We had a push back down, really fast move at the open. If you were in the private Twitter, you saw that we actually took Apple long while this was going, because Apple was a 60 anchor trade to the upside, and ended up being a lot of folks really made some good profit off of that today. So another here, look at this. So this is the other part of the Fibonacci spiral coming around here. Look at that. So you had this basically marked an inflection point in the movement today, and given another nice push to the downside, all the way to the weekly pivot level. So trading these levels are very important, right? So just kind of wanted to show you that. And the VIX kind of got things started, right? So the VIX actually got really busy pre-market too, which kind of showed you that we're going to have a pretty, they were shaking things up a little bit today. So that's just what we got, but we can't expect to have green days every day, right? So we have to have a couple red days here. I know these were red, but these pushed back down, pretty good. So a couple of these were up days, but still red on the day because they closed below the open. But for the most part, right, today was the first kind of down move that we've seen in a while. So now the question is, will we get some follow through? Perhaps, right? We're coming off a kind of a little bit of overbought conditions here, but we also have the bearish divergence here on the RSI, right? High to low here on those pivots on the RSI, and in addition, right, a bearish engulfing day could get some follow through to the downside, and right now futures are kind of down a little bit. So not as bad as I thought. North Korea had shot like some missiles off earlier, or at least claimed they had some tactical guidance missiles, and so you'd think there'd be a little bit more of a reaction, but we'll see how this behaves throughout the night. So we may end up gapping down a little bit tomorrow. So we shall see. But in general, we can't really be surprised, right? Because if we go to the state of the market here, right? So this is kind of the big picture SPX. Let me just see, make sure. Hey guys, how's it going? Okay, I just want to make sure. Awesome. All right. Okay, I just want to make sure everything's. I can't really see the screen for some reason on my YouTube, so hopefully everybody's catching that. Okay, good. So. but basically, yeah. So we look at the big picture market right here. So we had basically 2017, kind of working all the way up, and then we finally got a little interesting in 2018. Had a push down early in the year, corrective move, it worked its way up here. Kind of a channel breaks to the downside, ABC, right? Wave 2, possibly wave 3, and then now here, maybe this was just a wave A, and this could be working on a wave B, and then a C wave down, which could be pretty intense, right? So if we end up really pivoting here and really going to the downside, if it, A, B, C usually at least retraces 50% of the range. So we'll see what's in store at that point. But for the most part, right, we have these resistance levels from the highs, and then we're basically kind of touching those again. So to think that we're just going to plow straight through those, there's a lot of people defending those levels, right, or at least a lot of algorithms. But certainly there's some bears that are going to try to take advantage of folks who are trying to buy into all-time highs. So we just have to be aware of that, right? That they're going to push it down as much as they can. A lot of times it takes 2, 3, sometimes 4 attempts to break highs, right? To get a breakout. So that's why breakouts are really challenging, and we're reaching that level right now. So not surprised really to see a pushback today. So so that's kind of where we're at. Just to point too that we are pivoting here next to this pitchfork midpoint, right? So that's kind of a point of interest as well. So if we end up really truly pivoting here, we might end up filling that gap on the weekly chart, right? So and that was back here. So it's very rare to see an open gap on the weekly chart. We haven't seen it really, I think, since like 2017. Of course, it kept going up, up, and up in 2017. So we'll see if that actually, or maybe it's early 2018. But anyway, instead of going back and boring you with those, we do have an open gap here on the weekly, and that is definitely an open target. So so just be careful. Tread tactically. For the rest of the for a little bit, right? So but still a really narrow range week, right? So the week itself is only 22 points, right? So it's basically the range of the day. And tomorrow, don't forget, is the last trading day of the week. So we're heading into a holiday weekend, and Friday being Good Friday. And so so just be careful with option expiration and theta tomorrow. So just be tactical, or sideline, just until the market kind of gives you a clue if you're a bull, but if you're a bear, look for the right setup. So so today. We are going to be talking about, let me just make sure everything is good here. Hold on one sec. Chat. Good. Okay. Yeah, just want to make sure I'm going to, that is interesting. I just can't see anything on my screen there. But yeah, so just going to, today, I want to talk about reversal bars. Okay, so reversal bars are, we've talked about already outside bars. We've talked about inside bars. So here's an example, right? Just kind of jumps right out. You're right here. So here's your inside bar, right? Which ended up becoming a reversal bar because it reversed off of that, right? So, but here, the inside bar, right, breaks to the upside, right, and gives you a nice follow through. So the reversal bar is what we're really going to kind of be looking at, and we've done a video on this in the past, is basically your hammer bar or your shooting star bar at a key level, right? Or some sort of key movement on a trend line break. So if we kind of zoom in here, if I remove, well, I'll just keep those on, it's fine. But here, if we just draw a trend line, and if you're not drawing trend lines intraday, you are wrong. No, I'm just kidding. But it's definitely important to do this to kind of to show where the trend is going, and so you can kind of visually see what's happening. So this trend line here, if you just kind of go off the top of these bars, right? I hope you guys can see that. But if you go on top of these bars here, right? So where did this break? This actually broke right here at the inside bar up. So here's your inside bar. It breaks. This is your confirmation bar. So there's a nice hammer bar right here. This is a good reversal bar. And then you had that nice push to the upside. I mean, again, we're still dealing with a little bit of choppiness. It was only, what was it, 29.03 all the way up to 29.08. So a nice 5-point move. But usually with the SPX, if you can catch something like that, you can usually make at least a point off of the options on those. So, and depending how fast they go, like this is a pretty fast bar right here. And then again, inside bar break to the upside, right? Then at that point, right, we, obviously could taper out. So you might actually be able to get a little bit more, maybe 150% type move on the SPX option. So keep in mind, draw your trend lines, right? If you can't, if you need a review on how to draw trend lines, if you kind of go back through my my channel, we did a trend line video that kind of covered this. It's basically using the Vic Sperandino methods, Sperandeo method, Trader Vic, how he consistently trades trend lines. So. But basically, so that was your trend line here, right? And then you have another trend line basically kind of coming up this way, right? So change of trend, right? The change of trend is when it breaks, right? The upside, and then you get confirmation above that, and then it pushes, right? So, but here, right? If we draw a trend line here to the upside, there, what do we get? So we get a reversal bar. So today we're talking about reversal bars. So here, right, that inside bar serves as a reversal bar followed by a hammer, which is a reversal bar. Now you have a shooting star bar right here, right? So, and where is it at? It's at a key level, right? So we want these to be at key levels. So if you guys, are in the private Twitter, I post all the, the daily pivot levels there. So here we had a daily pivot level at 2907. And so what happens? We get up, we hit that bar, and look at that. It's rejected by this reversal bar, right? So shooting stars are great. Topping tails are great reversal bars, okay? So, this helps us gauge where we're at, right? What's going on? Key levels, right? Key bars, right? Just otherwise you're just kind of trading just kind of nothing, right? So you're kind of in space and you can get caught. But here you at least have a higher probability of, of success, right? So at this point, you can short here, right, with a stop above, wherever, kind of this level, or even a stop above this volumetric level here. I mean, so here it was 2908, but you can just go over here like just over 2909, and you can gauge this by going to the option chart and seeing, essentially, 1, 2, 3, 4, or we could just go to this time for at 950, essentially what the option bar low was. So if you guys want me to show that to you real quick, the option bar low, what was that at 950? So if we go to the SPX, and let's say we were trading for the, the 29. Oh, it's taking forever to load. Okay, so hold on real quick. So if we were going to short here, right, we would have gone to the 2900s, right? So it was so 950. The 18s probably would have been the way to go. We could have done the weeklies or the monthlies because weekly and monthly expiration is tomorrow. But let's just say we did this. Let's just go with well, it was early enough in the day we could have done the daily. So we go to the 2900s and we go to the puts here, and let's take a look at what that looked like. I'm going to right click on there, copy, and put it in here. So we're going to look from 950 all the way to so that was the 950 was your low. The entry is going to be 1035, and we'll see how it did up into 1130. So 950, 1035, and 1130. Okay, so let's go here. Let's take a look at that. And that was here, right? So that would have given a kind of like a low area here. So this would have been roughly $1.45, right? So just figure a little $1.40 or something like that, right? And then where was it? 1030-ish, right here, off of the 1035, right off of this bar. So this was it. So it kind of came up, right? And then that was your entry there. So 145, you have, and this makes it easier, right? Because you know where your stop is going to be. So let's say you keep it below there, you keep it below this bar, right? This is a little bit tighter because it's today's expiration. And we can take a look at tomorrow's too, and just kind of compare the two so you can see what I'm saying. So here, let's say you enter here at 144, and then you get that push to the downside. You go all the way up to 250. So like I said, you get a nice point on that move, and then you had that pullback, okay? And then the pullback there was just a retest, right? And that was clearly the ideal entry because that was 145 all the way up to $4. And so let's just see what that did on tomorrow's expiration. That level, because and you would have had your stop here at the where was it, 950. So you'd have been right below there at 398. It's a little more expensive, obviously, but you could have gone long here and just kind of rode it out from $4. That pullback was nothing. The other one had theta involved in it, which is why it pulled back so far. That's why we like to go a little bit further out than the day of expiration, and then boom to $9. So a nice double on that with tomorrow's option. So hopefully that kind of makes sense there. So that's kind of using those. The key is to look for those reversal bars. And let's just take a look here to see what that second one did. And let's see if that gave us a reversal bar too. Okay, so here, all right. So we had this key reversal bar here, right? And that was would have been a decent move on the option. This pullback here, even though it didn't take out this bar on the options, you can see it pulled back and took that out. And the reason it did that is because of theta, right? So because we're getting further, just theta burn on the last day on expiration just hurts. But here, again, we talked about kind of outside bars that gives you a bearish engulfing bar right here, right through the cloud, and that was another, spinning top and then boom to the downside. Not a reversal bar in terms of like a shooting star or hammer, but it kind of gave you that clue that was happening. So what was the next situation? So it came all the way down to S1, which is a reasonable target, right? Remember that's why we had 2900, push to the downside here. Boom, inside bar, double inside bar, break to the upside, nice bar, another inside bar, break that to the downside, and then all the way back down here. And then this put in your reversal bar, okay? So this you could have traded, right? But again, we like to look for threes just in case it's a bear flag. But these are really steep bars. So if you caught this inside, the double inside up, that was decent little trade right there as well on the calls. And then finally, this is almost kind of like a hammer bar right here. And so that was your reversal bar that almost touched the weekly pivot. And I just want to show one thing real quick. Okay, so not there. Okay, so reversal bar, and then inside bar, and then a break to the upside, and then just kind of smoothed up for a little bit and came down. So there's a little bit of money to be made there on that with options, and then finally looking for a some sort of shooting star. This is pretty close right off of the 50 moving average, and then finally off of there confirmation bar, and then a push to the downside, and then right here, right here. 2B reversal, right? So it's a key reversal pattern, right? We traded this the other day in the private Twitter. So we have the 1 down, 2 down, slightly lower, right? We talk about this in the newsletter too. You get the bar that pierced it, and you go long over that, right? So this is your low, your prior low. This is the bar that pierced it. That's your area basically to go long right here over this level is 28.99, which corresponds to your 28.99 on the level, right? So you break right through that on some momentum, and that pushes to the upside right there to the end. So, and that's it. That's basically it. And you look for those key reversal bars, hammers, shooting stars, and then you can look for other ones too, like the inside bars, and do your trend lines, right? Do your trend lines. Where does the trend line break? So I mean, you should and could be doing this all day, right? So this is your trend, right? The trend is your friend until it's not. Let me see. So it's until the end. I mean, you could even have done it here. Really, honestly, this bar here, boom, like that. There's your break. Remember, that was your key bar right there. Push to the upside. Here, you could do another trend line here, right? There's your levels, right? There's your shooting star right at the 50 EMA on the 5, which is a strong moving average for the 5s, right? This was a crazy bar right here, but this was what broke the trend. You don't trade necessarily on that bar. Boom, right there. Bear flag here. And these are the things that we should be doing all day, right? If we're trading all day. So push, bear flag, and then boom to the downside, right? That even gave you a reversal bar right there too, right? In the flag, which is where you want to get it, right? You want to try to catch it right there. Also at the 50 EMA, test, fail, down, right? So fifth time's the charm on that one, right? So it can only hold so long. And this one, that was a nice push to the downside too, by the way. And then where did it go? It went to the weekly pivot, right? And then where do you go? Trend line, down. Okay, well, we'll just do a channel there. It's fine. Yeah, trend line down, break, pause, boom, to the upside. So there you go, price action with reversal bars. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. Wow, it's already 9:48. So at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those into the chat window, and we will get through those as soon as possible. And hopefully everybody's able to see that through the screen, because I can't see it on my YouTube screen. Sometimes it just doesn't refresh itself there. I think I actually had to hit the play button on that. Hold on one second. For some reason it wasn't playing. But anyway, I hope everybody caught all that. So, all right, well, let's see what's going on. Andrew, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it seems your charts are coming along awesome, man, and I hope trading is going well too. Harvey, what's up? What's up? Raphael, what's going on? Good to see you, man. Okay, yeah, let's take a look. So we have, BKNG. We got some financials reporting to borrow. It's probably gonna be pretty boring, from that side of it, but we'll take a look here. Let's see, booking holdings though. This is the old price line type thing. So yeah, just looking at the 5-minute chart, choppy day, right? This is a very complex trading in this, right? These are probably ones you want to stay away from day trading, but this is the type of one, it's so expensive. This is the type of one that you want to look to swing if it can give you some good action. Let's just see how the options look on this. Surprisingly not as heavily traded as you would think. Yeah, I mean, it's such a low volume, low open interest. It's just, for some reason, for an $1,800 stock, you'd think that it would be like an Amazon or something like that. But yeah, pretty wild there. But yeah, we've been kind of tracking this a little bit. We have a pitchfork here, so kind of like these levels here. I mean, ultimately, it is kind of working its way down a channel. You kind of see this here. Oops. Kind of there. It's just kind of working its way down. And this is kind of just a mini range pitchfork, but bounce off of both those levels there. Gap down, kind of chopped around the mid pitchfork, kind of coming up again. Just kind of see how it handles that 18.99 area, and that might be, if it gets weak and it pivots there again, that might be a good place to reshort or find some puts. BDX. Oh, oh, oh! I got crushed today. Wow. So I was having some trouble holding the. I mean, it kind of draw a channel here as well. You know, kind of like that area. So just kind of see what it does. You know, kind of around these areas. I mean, you could if you really wanted to. If you wanted to get, you know, really particular, you could. Kind of like in that area right there, just kind of see how it holds, right? I mean, it might this actually might get some pretty good continuation to the downside until we get to earnings, right? So it might even get to this this kind of 204 area. So just look for key bars on the daily, and you know, kind of see what that gives you. But yeah, I mean, very weak day today, so that's pretty cool. Nice one there. KMX, CarMax. Looks like they're selling some cars, so that's good. Wow. This you know, this is definitely off my radar because I haven't traded this thing in a long time, but we did look at it. So you know, we drew a fib fan line from the high, you know, to this recent low. Look at that, broke right through it, and then just pushed to the upside. So at this point, it does look like it wants these highs, you know. But you know, with this type of move here, just be careful, right? Because it's getting parabolic. So sometimes that fear of missing out, you just got to watch out. You know, might pull back a little bit. But yeah, obviously a break at today's highs could get you to those pivots. So that's pretty cool. CRM. We looked at this the other day. I can't remember if we talked about it in here or if I tweeted it out, but it was real nice coiling pattern here, real nice triangle. You know, finally broke that to the downside today. So, so yeah, so you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice, you know, traditional triangle. Boom, break to the downside. So just be careful with this. You know, when triangles break, right? Sometimes they get that overshoot or undershoot, and then it might kind of curl right back around. CRM is a great stock for you know, kind of tricking. You know, tricking us. So just be careful with that. But yeah, for the most part, you know, I've got a pretty long range triangle. I'm sorry, pitchfork on this one. So a break of that triangle could eventually lead you to this one kind of 144 area. So so it's definitely, you know, everything's kind of pointing down. The RSI is kind of pointing down. You could even look here, draw your trend line on the RSI there. And if it does come around, see how it handles, you know, those levels again. If it breaks out, then it might, you know, start working its way back up to highs again. So CRMs are just a great one for being tricky. Sunny Zen, what's going on? Good to see you. NetFry, how are you? J&J, any hope to cross 140? Let's take a look. You know, J&J, you know, everybody's eyes were off of it the other day. You know, obviously not a fan of the company, but let's just take a look at the stock. Inside day, so that's something to keep in mind. You know, obviously, you know, I think a break, well, a break of today's high, right, would be an inside day break to the upside. I think you'll probably get a double inside day out of this one, and we got one not too long ago, right? Pre-earnings, wasn't this the double inside day here? Yeah, and so it gave us a little bit of a trade, right? Kind of broke to the downside and gave us a nice move there. Then it gave an inside day again, then an outside day, and then started working its way back up. Gap up on earnings when no one was looking, and then today was almost a 30. I think today was the 30 orb trading day. It was on our list. You know, you can see those levels here. You know, basically failed to the downside on 30, but the break later to the upside, 139 break, you know, at least got us up back to 140. So tricky to trade, but you know, at this point, let's just see what it looks like on the daily real quick. See what that inside day looks like. That's a really thick inside day. You know, so to me it looks like almost, you know, it's almost inevitable unless it just fails and fills that gap and tests the cloud here, that you'll get a double inside day tomorrow. So, but we'll see. We'll see on that one. But yeah, there's hope. As long as it breaks today's highs, you know, it'll get there, right? Harvey, 40% on Apple and private Twitter. Awesome. That's great, man. Yeah, it was. I mean, let's take a look at Apple, guys, real quick. So this is what we did in the private Twitter, which newsletter subscribers get free. So you know, sign up links are at the bottom. But anyway, here. Right, huge day today. What did we do? We caught the well, one, it was traveling up the Fibonacci arc, so it's been traveling up that real well, compressed enough, right? A little bit of a pennant, right? Pennant break to the upside, so that's real nice. And then when everything was going down, we traded the 60 anchor to the upside, which is a break of this inside bar here, right? Kind of came down a little bit, but it didn't hold it very long at all. Came back up, broke that level, that 199 level, and we were able to ride that. It ended up going all the way up to 203. So you know, huge trade today. I'm sure some folks like wow, made some huge, like had some in a separate account and forgot about it, and they're like, oh wow, I'm way up. So that's awesome. Good stuff, Harvey. Thank you. Rookie trader chart request. Nice. We got some. Let's do it. Low and HD. These have just been monstrous. Obviously today's not really fun, but I mean if you caught this pullback right here, goodness gracious, look at that! What a swing that would have been. Phenomenal, right? This is perfect pullback right here, guys. So that's your your pennant right there, all the way to the 50 and 200 moving average. Once it broke there, retest one more time and then launch. I mean just fantastic setup. So at this point, it's hard to really go long here because it's like after you miss all this, right? So these are the areas where you're like, really? I think I'm at all-time highs. Tough to go along there, but we are looking at a reversal bar, right? A little bit of a shooting star right here. RSI still in the oversold. The overbought area. Starting to maybe get some bearish divergence on it. As long as that curls over for us, at which point it might want to try to at least consolidate or retest. But again, a break of today's highs could give you a push, but just be careful with those all-time high breaks because you don't know if there's any sellers up there, and you might be caught, holding the bag, I guess you could say. So that's that, and then. Yep, there was that pennant break all the way to the upside. So that's that. HD I think was similar, if I recall correctly. Yeah, very similar. Very similar break, right? Pennant break to the upside. And we were tracking this for a while. Did a little Elliott wave on it prior. We had this trend line right here that we got at the upside. It broke to the downside, and then once it finally got over that, right? We had that was your level. So you have here, boom, break to the upside. So pretty smooth there. And where it's going, let's just take a look here. Don't know, but it was a little bit stronger day than lows, and a little bit stronger day on the daily too on those. And then the upper Bollinger Band really seems to be pushing the upside. HD looks a little bit stronger than lows, but just watch for any pullbacks, right? So FedEx, how's FedEx doing? That was I had a bearish count. Oh, yeah, I was like I had a bearish count on that for a while. Yeah, that didn't play out, did it? So. That's the fun with Elliott wave, right? So you never know the true wave count until it's done, but you can find your highest probability counts and then use those to your advantage. When you combine it with other tools, right? So, but real quick, it did give you a squeeze right here. It had the Bollinger Bands inside the Keltner channels, and once it finally broke to the upside, that was your good signal to go long. You had an inside day, a little bit of a kind of funky reversal day, and then just a nice launch to the upside there on FedEx. So flying high, and then dry. DRI. Darden Restaurants. Oh, well, that looks interesting. There's a pullback if you've seen one in a while. So that looks really interesting for a potential pennant type play. So you have your gap here. So you have this really decent earnings gap. Have kind of like these levels. Obviously your gap is right here. We also have a 50-day right here. Right, we're kind of consolidating there. So any pullbacks, are worth potentially looking at, right? So you look for if it consolidates here a little bit, right, and then you want to see that break to the upside. So I'm not saying go long right here, but wait for a maybe a test of the 50-day or just a little bit of consolidation in those areas, and then this thing looks like it could get ready to launch at some point. So and it looks like it's holding the gap pretty well. So and there's a gap above too, so it could go for that as well. So good stuff, Rookie Trader, loving it. Peter HK, what's going on? Good to see you, man. Merritt, how are you? Good to see you. Good evening. Let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, Chris, what's up? Looking at long call swing options for Twitter, Roku, and Tesla and T. So Twitter is the only one that concerns me. They all have a little bit of concern to it, right? Twitter is it is consolidating, so I do like that. Forgive all these levels here. Let me get Twitter clear. Okay, still a million levels. I pretty much quit trading Twitter, right? Except for the 60 anchors on it. It just is anybody ever try to trade Twitter? It's like you think it's perfect 'cause it's got the great price point, right? So you can get shares on it, and then it gives you these wicks, which I call wiki. It gives you these wiki days, and it gets really, really tricky to trade. It always just boom takes out your stop and then comes back in and then finishes higher, So it's just like, a little bit tough to trade. But for swings, you can kind of keep your eye off it. I do like the consolidation here. The only thing that concerns me if it sort of takes out these lows, right? Then it could start getting a little bit nasty, right? So we've got a little death cross here occurring on the 5 and 10 MA. So just kind of keep that in mind. But you do have a nice little pennant here, so it could go. But if you're swinging it, you're swinging it into earnings in a couple days. So I think it probably will consolidate, and then we'll see which way it does. Right? Could break to the downside, kind of get down to the cloud, or it could break. But at this point, I would be hands off of it until after earnings. Unless you like swinging through earnings. Roku. It's on my radar for a long recently. I really was liking this pullback. It's still pulling back. To me here, it looks like it wants to at least test the 200 moving average. And then kind of see how it behaves like in the cloud here. I don't like how it's pushed kind of down so far into the cloud. If anything, I would like to see it kind of come up a little bit, consolidate, and then give us a nice burst out of the cloud there. So at this point, though, just be careful because your Keltners are pointing down. Let's see how your weekly's starting to curl down too. So but for now, just kind of keep those levels in mind. That 59, that 60 break, I think is kind of your kind of key level. And 60, where's that here? That's kind of up here. It's your 50 moving average. So if you can get over the 50 moving average on the daily, that's probably something good to look at there. Tesla gave us a PRHK Tesla challenge inside day. So let's see. So pretty decent inside day here, kind of upper part of the range. We had that nice reversal bar here at the lower Bollinger Band. Nice follow through, pause potentially on the daily, and coming right off the mid calorie here. But if it could push, if it could break all these levels, 50 moving average right here at 285, you got some cloud up there that could be a potential target, resistance area, and a nice gap above it too. So earnings are coming up pretty soon as well. So 424 on that. So just keep that in mind too. And then let's see, Tesla. I'm sorry, AT&T. Inside day at a Fibonacci fan line. I know a lot of folks have been really bullish on this one. Kind of came up, look at that, came up to the fan line here. Gap, was that dividend down? So, kind of came up off the dividend here, but now it's consolidating, right? This also has earnings on 424. Inside day, right at the fib fan line. So just kind of keep an eye on that. It could go double inside day, or it could just continue to chop. But if it breaks to the downside, it does seem like it would want to test at least the mid Bollinger Band at like 31. It's 200 days at like 31.28. So just kind of keep an eye on that there. But yeah, if it did break, if earnings were good and all that stuff, you've got nice space right up there, to the next fib fan line up there. So definitely some potential on that. Awesome chart request, man. Sunny Zen, yeah, iSurge, good one. Andrew pointed this out a little bit earlier on Twitter. Got slammed today. Look where it went, right to its 200 moving average. Tried to recover a little bit, kind of failed. To me, all these medical stocks have been getting, just jammed with negative stuff. Who knows? It could just be manipulation for them trying to push it down, right, as far as possible. So they just buy again, right? But you can see here it held this. Which moving average is this? This might be the 250. Let me see what I had here. Oh, that's a trend line. That's just an old trend line. Let's just zoom out. Let's take a look. Anyway, that might be a potential target, is that trend line. Look, it held it last time pretty well. So let's see. Yeah, so here was your... Oh, sorry, guys. Starting to get a little bit oversold here on the RSI, but let's just look. This is your long-term trend line, right? Kind of coming up here. So, it's possible that it gets down to that 470 kind of level, and then I don't know if it makes a couple moves like it did today, it could do it right into earnings are tomorrow after the close. So we'll see what it does. But yeah, looking really weak there, just off of this kind of healthcare type action. This is your upward trend line that we looked at last time. Kind of broke below it, retested the top of it. So it doesn't. So it does make sense that it kind of was resisted there, and that came into that kind of heavy resistance area. All right, so right there, like that, right? That was your prior high right there. Tested it, rejected, right? So, so I would just see how it does on earnings, right? But this is a tough one to trade with the shares or with stocks, because the spreads just get so nasty. STZ. Yeah, but definitely iSurge. If you're, I would just stay away from it. It can get really nasty, because it can skip over your, your spread, and then you end up, like, let's say you think you have a 50-cent spread on it, could skip over it, then you end up getting stopped out for like $1.50. It's not cool, but this is really interesting. So the STZ, let's see, we have this old levels here, some Fibonacci levels and all that, but I'm just going to take those out. I'm going to remove that. I have some old I think we did this as an example for like gaps, or I think we looked at it for earnings one time. So let me just kind of remove those here. We'll just keep those key levels. Yeah, there's a gap right there. That was it. Yeah, that was just showing. Actually, let me put those back. There were gaps somewhere, but that was back here. Yeah, so there's a gap right there. I think we did this for earnings last time. We kind of want to see where we are. So it's kind of holding those gap levels. So it is kind of a key area right here. But I do like, it's kind of a like the kind of bullish flag that it's doing right here. And it had a pretty good move too recently. So just kind of watch that, see how it handles in the range. If it can kind of break out, I think you can see it tested this pivot here at 201, 208. And then kind of work its way up, kind of up in that range. So so that does look pretty neat. And then IAC. Da, 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 da. Okay, yeah, just testing a lot of these. Kind of like this is resistance here. This high resistance. Hold on 1 second. Let's zoom out here real quick. See what it's doing. I mean, it does have a really steady uptrend, right? So I mean, kind of, just kind of get an eye of what it's doing. I mean, it is working its way up. You kind of have this on a double bottom type area. Just kind of keep that in mind. It's kind of it's kind of a key channel right here, up, down, up, down, up. Does it get resisted there again by those highs and come back down, or if it breaks out, then you might get a push up to that kind of 237 type level. I don't think I've ever traded this one before. Makes sense. I mean, there's some open interest here and some volume at the 220s, but here when you have options that are like $10 apart, where the strikes are $10 apart, this gets really, really tough to trade, right? So, but if it moves 2 strikes, I mean, you go, you get a huge move. So just be careful with this one. There's not a lot of volume on those options if you trade those. So, but it does look interesting chart on this. So very good, very good, very good. Merit, what's going on? UNH, yeah, let's talk about that one again. Looks like it got a little more follow through to the downside, which we weren't surprised about, right? We said the next support level was kind of this 203 area on the fib arc, and then if it can't hold that, right, we've got the next one is 180. So just kind of keep that in mind with that one. So yeah, nice follow through if you were short on that today, Merit. So Le Machine Polonaise, good to see you. Merit forever, yeah, no big deal. Harvey, Julian, nice. Call salt, this is rich. Let's cat and lift, yeah, absolutely. So let's see, cat. Yeah, I got a few private messages or DMs, direct messages in the private Twitter today about cat and how it's kind of behaving. I, got a nice chart on this. It's gonna, it kind of has this kind of look to it. It's kind of this ascending triangle type look. Activate that. Activate. Right, so it kind of has this ascending triangle type look. It has a breakout over those levels right now. So, if they come out with some good, trade talk. What we have earnings next Tuesday, right? So this is the 24th. Yeah, lots of earnings coming out, Apple and all that stuff. So just keep an eye on this. It's coming into earnings. Might give you a little earnings run to the upside. Might not be, selling a put spread into earnings. Could get, you could capitalize on a little bit of a premium as it goes up. As get a little bit of extra money if it's going to the upside. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then I have an old Fibonacci here from this high to this low back in October. It almost looks like an inverse chart, doesn't it? But yeah, what is happening here? You gotta love it. It was actually low already. Oh, it's because of all the China stuff and everything. And then it hit the. It was really like a trend line there. From gosh, that is really fascinating. Anyway, so this kind of little breakout here today it looks pretty interesting. It looks pretty bullish. And then your next Fibonacci level is this 150 area. So I don't know. To me, if I was going to trade this at all, I would look at selling a put spread to try to get an earnings run. If the market supports it, right? If the Dow's just crashing, you don't want to go in it, right? But it is looking very bullish at this point. So that was a cool chart there. And then let's see how lift is doing. Let's go to the we're going to take a look at the candlesticks on this one. This is one we highlighted in the newsletter, right? So kind of real quick here, you can see what's happening, right? We had the has it really? Gosh, time flies, huh? But wow, we're already in week 4, and so it's putting in a nice key reversal area right here. This level 2 is key as well. We looked at this the other day. We'll look at the daily chart. So we'll see if this finishes with a hammer on the week, and that could get some institutions pretty interested in it. Let's see. So yeah, like that. Inside day yesterday, right? We talked about this, getting over this bar here. We had the hanging man up here that broke to the downside. Inside bar, break to the downside, hanging man off of this key level, which is the low of this bar, breaks to the downside, gives you an inside day, pushes to the upside, and now you have this nice, basically reversal bar right here. It just really got to get above the 60 level, to start getting serious on this. So 60 is a key level on it. So 88, let's see, what is that? There. Why does it do that? There. Okay. Let's see. So kind of there. So right now it's still contained, in my opinion, well, based on these candlesticks, it's still contained by this downward trend line, right? So let's see if we can break out of that. And I think that 60 is your key level for looking for a potential to the upside. But it did finally start getting some interest today. 10 million shares traded on it. So, they're not messing around, right? So that's a potential break right there. So, so far, so good. Good. And let's see, what else? Let me tell you is sharing is a 5-minute best part of trade reversals. It's up to you. You can trade them on any time frame, right? We're just looking at here on the daily, right? It all depends on what you're comfortable with, right? So, trading is individual effort, right? I can share all my knowledge and all my experience and even show you exactly what I'm trading, but everybody's gonna have a different comfort threshold, different risk threshold, different opinion, different feeling, about the market, different interpretation, right? So it's all up to you, right? So, but for me, the 5 is a great one to trade on, but you guys know I love looking at the hourly time frame, just kind of see a little bit more context. But when you're trading real quick options like the SPX, you kind of need the you don't want to go the 1 minute time frame because it'll just get stopped out all the time. But so you find a nice medium right here on the 5s where you can see a lot of the price action, and you can really take advantage of it, right? So I've good friends that love to trade the 15s, right? So just a little bit more comfortable, a little bit cleaner bars, right? Here you've got this nice reversal bar right here on the 15-minute cloud, and that kind of came to the downside right here. You had this bar right here. You don't have to worry about that because it was just a topping tail on that, and then you have that nice kind of push to the downside. So just all depends on what you like to trade. If I put the levels back up here for today, you can kind of see those levels here, right? So the break, nice push here, right? That just gave you the Darvis box. Then it holds the S1. You have this kind of tweezer type, well, not really tweezer bottom. You have this, reversal area right here. So it just all depends on how you trade, what you're most comfortable with, what you get used to. So I just like seeing these bars. I like seeing they go a little bit quicker. They kind of form the bars and get a better interpretation of what's going on, kind of inside around these levels. So total, obviously totally up to you, but that's what I like. But you can do it on the daily, you can do it on the monthly, right? So some people swing reversals off the monthly. I like, swing trades off of weekly charts. If they set up right, so you have you had this shooting star, which barely triggered, but here this hammer bar would have been a nice weekly bar. That's got have this reversal off the 200, and you get that follow through bar, and then you have a nice swing to the upside. So it just you can trade off of weeklies, you trade off of monthlies, right? Hammer bar last month, and even from there. Obviously it wasn't a reversal. Here's like your kind of a doji reversal bar. Let's see if it gave us any other kind of key bars. Here was a nice key bar off of the monthly, right? So it came down. There's your reversal, right? Boom to the upside. And that was, if you held that, you'd have been good for 1939 all the way to 29, 40. So a good is that 1,000 points? Yeah, good 1,000 points on the S&P. So that's pretty good, just trading off the monthly reversals, right? So it all depends on what, where you're comfortable with, but it's all about the bars, right? The bars and the levels and the key areas, right? And then we'll talk more about price action as we go farther, about some other key things to look at too. So, but we touched on a few things today, so. Session, what's going on? Who's calling these tickers? Yeah, we appreciate it. Thanks, Station. Appreciate it. Let's jump on this. Can you share your opinion on NG, NatGas, and GDS? So NG. Let's see. Well, it was going down for a while. Let's see. Got a nice little pop here at the end though, but that's just kind of like your summer doldrums, right? With the with natural gas, right? So it kind of makes sense there. It did get here below the fib fan. One thing we could do is kind of some levels here. Look at a pennant type possibility and just kind of see how it does is see if it consolidates a little bit, and then see if it gives you a reversal bar, right? See if it kind of breaks down a little bit, gives you a little hammer. There's something interesting, on the daily with a possible pennant break, and then a potential pennant break over the fib fan line, right? For maybe a little bit of a test here to get to some of these levels. So looking pretty interesting. Let's see how that looks up volumetrically. I think we looked at that last time. Those are your fib fans. So yeah, it's kind of holding those volumetric levels. Again, that break here, that would be key. See that volume line right there? So it's 416. So that kind of break out of that 416, 420 area could work up to that 450, kind of range. And then GDX, our miners. Let's see. Looking even, look at that, down even when the market is down, right? So usually like they're kind of inversely related, but it held, look at that double top right there off of the potential head and shoulders too. There's your neckline there, boom, right, break there, break the fib fan. Personally, I mean, just looking at it, it looks like it's going to go to at least that kind of 21 area. Just to kind of see. I mean, yeah, obviously it could happen, but it's still looking pretty bearish. So GDX, I still believe there's a little head and shoulders on the daily going past. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly, machine. So yeah, I think so. There it is. So I see what you're talking about now. Good. What are the three blue lines that look like Bollinger Bands? Oh, those are the Keltner channels on that. So those are the Keltners. So Keltner, we did a video in the past on those. I do like the Keltners for, especially on the weekly charts. They really kind of show trend a little bit better. You use your exponential, 1.5. The Bollinger Bands are cool, but they get a little crazy because they use standard deviations. But Keltners use average true range, so it kind of gives you more of a directional type feel, for trend. And and they serve as pretty cool levels too. And then when the Bollinger goes inside, right, that's kind of your squeeze. And then when it breaks back outside, it can kind of give you a little bit of a directional move on it, on those. So Merit Forever, RTN. Okay, cool. I didn't know if it was like chat code or something like that. Wow, RTN actually looks pretty good. Nice. I like how it just is consolidated right at the cloud right there. So you have this kind of zone. It's your cloud. Got your pennant. To me, just kind of see if it hangs out in here a little bit, and then look for a break. But yeah, it's starting to look pretty good. And if North Korea gets really funky, right? This defense stocks are going to be, going to go up, right? So anyways, Robin, how are you? Just catching the last few minutes. Cool, awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Net Friday, my pleasure. Merit, SOXL. Wow, huge gap up today. And then that reverse. Wow, that is really scary. So overbought on the RSI, over the upper Bollinger Bands. Looks like it could come back in and fill that gap certainly. So that is definitely one to look at. Xilinx. One of net fries. Let's see. So yeah, look at that right off of that Fibonacci level. Isn't that something? Just a coincidence, right? So pretty amazing stuff. Yeah, we did a prior level. We must have done maybe a volumetric on this one, but either way, tag that level, spinning top, red spinning top at the upper Bollinger Band. RSI is overbought, and yeah, tag that Fibonacci level. So I don't know. To me, it looks like it could use a pullback. But this thing has just been a monster since it had that last earnings. Just look at that, monster since then. One pullback, all these pullbacks were viable. Pullback, go, pullback, go. So I don't know. Is it ready for a pullback? Are they going to impress on earnings this time? I don't know. But it's been enjoying a big run up since the last one. So good stuff there. Do you use pre-market price while drawing levels or in any other way? Yeah, I mean for the most part, I don't really mess with it. Love Machine Polonaise. I used to trade it. Occasionally, I'll jump in, pre-market and. If something looks really, really like a huge gap up that it just makes no sense, sometimes I'll short something pre-market or something like that. But it's good to just kind of see, hey, I know where I'm going to end up. So you don't just like open blind in the morning, right? So it's like, if you're trading Xilinx and you're like, okay, I'm going to get ready to go long at 134, and then you're surprised that you're at 137, you shouldn't be, right? Because you should at least track and see what was going on pre-market. But I don't base trades off of it. You can use it for intraday targets right? So if you kind of came down and, say we were down here all day and we never hit those levels, and we were kind of coming up, you could use that level as like a target. They're not solid targets, but there are, there's some, there's shares there, and so it is relatively viable. But for the most part, for price action and all that stuff, you just kind of want to go off of levels, go off candlesticks, and go off of like key points, like your cloud and key moving averages, things like that. So, but yeah, they're good to use as a point of reference. Good to tell you where you're going to gap and all that stuff. Of course, they're great if you're long overnight and you can see them like all the way up here. That's always a fun thing. So, but yeah, for the most part, I don't really use it too actionably. So that's that. Darren, what's going on? Long time. Thought on Attorney General speaking tomorrow. Oh yeah. I don't know, man. They last time, they came out with, what was it, Sunday? There was no collusion, right? I really thought that the market was just going to rip, and then kind of nothing really happened. So I think probably it's going to be the same kind of nothing tomorrow. Honestly, I mean, it's Thursday before a holiday. There's going to be a lot of traders gone. So my guess is it's going to kind of fizzle out. But who knows? They could say something that could really push the market. So, but I feel like mostly kind of nothing's coming out of it, right? If anything, you'd probably see some sort of tension or something like building out, but I don't know. Don't really see it, but it could happen. So, Bruce, what's going on? Good to see you, man. Hey, welcome back. Welcome in anytime. Session, what studies do you have on? I'm new to TA. I can share my. Let me just do that real quick for you guys. Let's see. Share workspace. Let's see, share. I was posting in the chat, and you can pull it into your TOS. To pull it in your TOS, just go to Setup and say load shared workspace. So you just kind of do it in there. So feel free to look through that, and you can kind of scan through all my different studies and all that stuff, and just kind of I've got different stuff, but I do things for all sorts of different for my newsletter. I do stuff for intraday. I mean, so you can just kind of look and see. I mean, I don't really have anything. I got all sorts of different stuff for different reasons, so and different videos that we do. So, to say like I trade off of this is, I don't, so, but sometimes I look at it if I'm studying charts, just kind of examine a new topic or something like that. So, but feel free. I mean, for the most part, session, I mean, your key things you want, right? Your 5 and 10 MA, right? On your daily, you want your 50 and your 200, so here's my 5 MA, here's my 10 MA. The orange ones are the Bollinger Bands. You don't really need the Keltners on there, but I just keep them in there. But the Bollinger Bands are really helpful with your RSI. It's kind of key. I keep the cloud up there. The cloud is really effective, and then I draw a lot of lines and stuff like that. So those are kind of the main things. So your 200, your 50, your 5 and your 10. A lot of people like the 21 EMA. I think because it's a Fibonacci number or something like that. But anyway, but your 20 SMA is your mid Bollinger Band, and your 20 Keltner is your exponential 20. So, or your mid Keltner is your exponential 20. So it's kind of those things are pretty much all I use. And sometimes I just use it to gauge the market. I go back and I look at it, and just to kind of see where we're at relative to the price action of the day. Or intraday, if I'm trading SPX or something like that, I'm going to use the levels, right? So your pivot levels, and I definitely look at cloud. Cloud is really good, and I'll look at some Fibonacci levels. The Fibonacci spirals, kind of just be like, hey, take a look here, see if anything's going on, and then drawing your lines, your trend lines, your bear flags, your bull flags, and then if you can see any patterns setting up too, right? So intraday, you can see like a head and shoulders, a double top, double bottom, candlestick patterns, tweezer patterns, kind of things like that. And then your, any of your price action bars that we talked about, inside bars, outside bars, reversal bars, shooting stars, hammers, things like that at key levels, right? Or trend line breaks. So kind of like that, but it's best not to rely on the indicators too much. I mean, your 50 EMA is pretty good on the 5-minute chart. So I mean, just little things like that. Just not as a crutch, but just kind of to show that hey, some algorithms are looking in these areas. Some key big traders are looking in those areas too. So, but just having one MA that you really like to trade. But again, it's all up to you, right? Whatever you're most comfortable with, right? So and whatever you're going to put on, you'll be able to manage your risk. So. So yeah, but lots of study, lots of technical. If you go through my channels, I've got tons of stuff, right? Tons of technical analysis, like candlesticks from everything. So feel free to browse through the channels too. Harvey, yep, no problem. My pleasure, my friend. Love Machine Polonaise, thanks a lot. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, Love Machine Polonaise. What do I think of win because of LVS report today? Yeah, so I mean, it might move in sympathy. Yeah, so. But don't forget, like win, has got its own issues, right? But it has been pretty strong. We've been looking at this recently. Let's see. So it's been working its way up this, kind of pitchfork area. It's held, tested up again, and it has its earnings next week. So it's at a key level. It's at a volumetric level right here, kind of that 146 kind of area. So just kind of see how it holds there, and it could break out or not. But at this point, I'd probably be hands off of it until after earnings. Plus, option prices are going to be too high anyway. So married forever, my pleasure, and yeah. There you go. Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Again, thank you to all subscribers to the newsletter. We've got over 100 in the readers so far of the newsletter. People in the private Twitter. So links at the bottom if you want to sign up. It's a good deal. Lots of freebies with it, educational stuff. And at this point, everybody have a great night. And remember, tomorrow is Thursday, so it's really the Friday of the week. I hope everybody has a blessed weekend. And probably we won't do a live stream tomorrow just because it's into the holidays. The market's closed on Friday. So have a great night, everybody. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. All right, I will talk to you.